Welcome to the Bayraktar TB2 data card video. Every platform we have covered in this series exists in the world the TB2 helped create. The Shahid 136 exploited the cost exchange lesson the TB2 taught. The MAGURA V5 applied the same principle to the surface of the water. The Lucas program was funded in part because decision-makers watched TB2 footage from Azerbaijan and understood that the age of affordable precision strike had arrived. You cannot understand modern drone warfare without understanding what happened in the autumn of 2020 in a mountainous region called Nagorno-Karabakh. And that story begins with this platform. The Bayraktar TB2. Built by Bayraktar Defense in Istanbul, Turkey. Introduced in 2014, operational from 2015. Exported to over 30 countries including Ukraine, Azerbaijan, Poland, Qatar, Ethiopia, and Libya. Named after its designer, Selçuk Bayraktar, who is also the son-in-law of Turkish President Erdogan. That family connection is worth noting because it shaped how aggressively Turkey marketed and deployed this platform in ways that a pure defense contractor might not have. The TB2 became Turkish foreign policy in hardware form. Let's start with what it is physically. Wingspan 12 meters. Length 6.5 meters. Maximum takeoff weight approximately 700 kilograms. Payload capacity 150 kilograms across 4 underwing hardpoints. Airframe is carbon fiber and Kevlar composite, strong, lightweight, and relatively low cost to produce. Propulsion is a Rotax 912 piston engine at 100 horsepower in a rear pusher configuration. Maximum speed 220 kilometers per hour. Cruise speed 130 kilometers per hour. Endurance 27 hours. Service ceiling 7,620 meters, 25,000 feet. That ceiling is operationally significant and we will return to it. The guidance and control architecture has one notable constraint. The TB2 uses a C-band line-of-sight data link. No satellite link in the base configuration. Maximum operational range is approximately 150 kilometers from the ground control station, limited by the horizon and the line-of-sight geometry. This is not a beyond line-of-sight system. It is a persistent loitering strike platform that requires the ground control station to remain within range. That constraint defined both its operational doctrine and its eventual vulnerabilities. Navigation is GPS and INS with GLONASS backup. The system is semi-autonomous. It can take off, land, and fly waypoints without operator input, but weapons employment requires a human in the loop. 3 crew members operate a typical TB2 mission: a pilot, a sensor operator, and a mission commander. This is not a fire-and-forget weapon. It is a persistent armed ISR platform that puts trained eyes on target before it pulls the trigger. That distinction matters both operationally and legally. The primary weapon is the MAML, a smart micro-munition weighing 22 kilograms with laser guidance. The MAMC is the smaller variant at 6.5 kilograms. The Rockets and UMTA's laser-guided anti-tank missile is also compatible. The EO and IR sensor turret, either the Wescom MX-15D or the Aselsan CAT system, includes a laser designator that cues the munitions. The TB2 finds the target, designates it with the laser, and fires. Single-shot kill probability against light armored vehicles, artillery systems, and radar installations is high. Against a column of tanks in the open with no air cover, it is devastating. Now the combat debut, because this is the story that changed everything. The 2020 Nagorno-Karabakh conflict between Azerbaijan and Armenia lasted 44 days. Azerbaijan deployed TB2S against an Armenian military equipped with Soviet-era air defense systems, SA-8, OSA, and 2K-12 Cub. The results were not a surprise to analysts who had been paying attention. They were a shock to everyone else. The TB2 operates at approximately 25,000 feet, above the effective ceiling of most short-range air defense systems. Below that altitude, SHORAD is effective. Above it, the TB2 is largely unthreatened by the systems that Armenia fielded. Operating in that altitude band, the TB2 systematically destroyed Armenian armored columns, artillery positions, and air defense radars. The videos were released in waves. Each one showed a targeting display, a laser designator box tracking a vehicle, and then a precision strike. Columns of tanks. Artillery in high positions. Radar systems. All destroyed on video in a conflict that lasted 6 weeks. Azerbaijan won the conflict decisively. The TB2 did not win it alone. Logistics, ground operations, and political factors all contributed. But the TB2's performance against Armenia's Soviet-era integrated air defense network proved a theorem that now applies across the entire drone spectrum. A platform does not need to be invulnerable to be effective. It needs to be cheap enough that its losses are sustainable relative to its kills. Azerbaijan lost TB2s. It kept operating them because at $5 million per airframe, the exchange ratio against the targets it was destroying remained overwhelmingly favorable. A $5 million drone destroying a $50 million air defense system is not a close calculation. Ukraine confirmed the lesson in February 2022. In the opening weeks of the Russian invasion, TB2s operating over Ukrainian territory destroyed Russian armor, logistics convoys, and air defense assets in footage that circulated globally. A TB2 sank a Russian Raptor-class patrol boat in the Black Sea. The Ukrainian TB2 song, a folk ballad recorded by a Ukrainian band that went viral internationally, became one of the most shared pieces of media from the entire conflict. The TB2 was not just a weapon. It was a symbol. Then Russia adapted. And this is the other part of the TB2 story that the viral videos do not tell. As Russia brought more sophisticated electronic warfare systems and medium-range air defense into the conflict, including S-300 and Buk systems with significantly higher engagement ceilings, TB2 operations over contested airspace became increasingly costly. Ukrainian TB2 losses climbed. Operations shifted to lower threat corridors. The TB2 that had been devastating in Azerbaijan against Soviet-era air defense became significantly more vulnerable against modern Russian integrated air defense. This does not diminish what it achieved. It explains why the platform has an overall vulnerability rating of moderate and why the data card countermeasure profile looks the way it does. Now the countermeasure vulnerability profile, reading directly from the data card. RF jamming, moderate. The line-of-sight C-band data link can be jammed. It is encrypted, but C-band is a well-understood frequency band that Russian electronic warfare systems are specifically designed to target. Loss of the data link forces the TB2 into autonomous waypoint flight or return to home. It does not crash immediately, but it loses the human operator and weapons employment capability. GPS spoofing, moderate. GPS-dependent navigation with limited INS backup. Demonstrated vulnerability in Ukraine where Russian GPS denial affected operations. EMI and EMC attack, moderate. Some military-grade hardening but not fully mil-spec across all systems. More hardened than a consumer drone but not at the level of purpose-built military cruise missiles. Microwave attack, moderate. More hardened than consumer platforms but still vulnerable at close range. The composite airframe provides no inherent shielding. Laser-directed energy weapons, moderate. The TB2 flies at moderate speed and the composite airframe has some resistance, but it is a large slow-moving target at medium altitude. A laser system with sufficient power and dwell time could engage it effectively. Kinetic intercept, high vulnerability. This is the TB2's most significant weakness. 12-meter wingspan. 700-kilogram platform flying at 130 km per hour cruise speed at medium altitude. Large radar cross-section. Conventional short-range air defense systems, SHORAD, are effective against it if they can reach its operating altitude. Modern systems like the Panzer S-1 and Buk M2 specifically demonstrated effectiveness against TB2s in Libya and Ukraine. The TB2 is survivable against legacy air defense. It is significantly more vulnerable against modern integrated systems. Cyber attack, moderate. Encrypted link but single-channel C-band presents a constrained attack surface. Not immune but not trivially hackable. Overall vulnerability rating, moderate. This rating reflects a platform that is highly effective in permissive and semi-permissive airspace against legacy air defense, and significantly more vulnerable against modern integrated air defense with medium-range surface-to-air missiles. The operational lesson from Ukraine, devastating in week 1, increasingly costly by month 3, captures this rating precisely. Now the convergence argument, and the TB2 sits at a specific and important position on the spectrum. The TB2 is the midpoint. It is not a cheap one-way attack drone like the Shahid. It is not a sophisticated low-observable cruise missile like the JASSM. It is a recoverable precision strike platform that carries laser-guided munitions, operates for 27 hours, and costs $5 million. It shares GPS and INS navigation with cruise missiles. It carries precision-guided munitions with terminal seekers. It operates at ranges and endurance that overlap with subsonic cruise missile profiles. The critical difference from a cruise missile, it comes back. That recoverability makes it an ISR platform that can strike rather than a strike weapon that also does ISR. That dual-role capability is something most cruise missiles simply do not have. The TB2's real contribution to the convergence thesis is not technical. It is economic and doctrinal. It democratized precision strike capability for mid-tier militaries. Before the TB2, persistent armed ISR required an MQ-9 Reaper at $30 million or equivalent Western platforms that only the wealthiest militaries could afford to lose in combat. The TB2 at $5 million made precision strike attritable. Ukraine lost dozens of them. It kept buying. That willingness to accept losses and keep operating is only possible when the platform costs $5 million rather than $30 million. The cost exchange argument that runs through this entire series begins, in the recoverable drone domain, with the TB2. The full Bayraktar TB2 data card is available at the link in the description. Download it, keep it, and we will see you on the next one.